Welcome to the Wealthy SAP Consultant Podcast with your host, Anita Anello, where we empower SAP consultants to deliver premium services by showcasing their expertise to the world. In each episode, we dive deep into strategies, tips, and success stories to help SAP consultants like you elevate your consultancy game, attract high-paying clients, and maximize your revenue potential. Get ready to unlock the secrets to success in the SAP consulting world and position yourself as a top-tier consultant. To connect further and explore personalized strategies for your consulting business, schedule a strategy call with our team by clicking the link below. Enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Wealthy SAP Consultant Podcast. I'm your host, Anita Anello, and I'm here with a new friend of mine, Prakash. You guys, I tell you, every single time we start these episodes, it's so much fun to have these couple-minute conversations with all my new best friends. And then I feel like my heart is exploding right now. And I'm so excited because what I find in the SAP world, when we start connecting with one another as consultants and clients and serving these similar audiences, you guys, what's so fun is that I don't know, it's just kind of like my mind starts exploding of different things we can talk about and the ways that we serve clients and elevating one another. So Prakash, I want to be able to welcome you to the podcast today. Can you give us a little bit? First of all, thank you so much for being here. Already, you have made my day. I shared with you earlier, it's been a little bit of a challenging day today. I don't know why, but some days are just like that. So thanks so much for being with me here today. And can you give the audience a little bit of your background?
Sure, Anita. Thanks for the introduction and thanks for the time. First of all, I want to appreciate it. You're taking this initiative and then connecting with a lot of people and then bringing everybody on the one single forum. It's an awesome thing. So about me, very quickly, I have around more than 22 years of experience in overall, and then SAP. I've been with SAP for almost working for 20 years. I work for the various different companies, the big brands. I've been worked, and then the areas which is more. I've been working for so many years in different areas. I traveled within the SAP background. Example, like I started as order management, sales and distribution, and then I moved on to variant configuration. I did direct store delivery, which is for one of the beverage companies, and then worked on BRIM, which is a hot topic right now in the market. So been working on various other areas in SAP itself, and also worked in multiple different industries, which is what the most interesting thing, because in SAP, because technology, yes, we can explore more when we get into a different industries. I got an opportunity to work with manufacturing, media, oil and gas, energy sector, pharmaceutical, various, I would say like telecom, various different industries. I've been working on these almost now 20 years in SAP,
Yeah.
which is what I would brief myself very quickly with you on that.
Yeah. I love that because what I'm hearing from you, Prakash, is that you not only have like a breadth about you and just being able to be in the SAP ecosystem for a lot of years. I have that as well. I love that. Like I love that we have that in common. I love that we're not just starting out, although that's not a bad thing, but don't you know that once you work on lots of projects over a long period of time, you see some of these patterns. But I also love that you have a depth about you by being in these different verticals. So you have this depth and breadth in your consulting experience because you've been in lots of different industry verticals and you've shared with us the amount of time that you've been in ecosystems. So that's so exciting. It's so fun because one of the things that we're going to talk about next is kind of like high value consulting. And I'm going to ask you in just a second, kind of like what's your definition of that so we can talk about it with the audience and they can learn and really have a couple of things. Like what I love to do when people listen to the podcast, I love to be able to give great practical, tactical ideas that people can implement right away. But I also love to like help us become aware of areas that we're not aware of how we can improve in our businesses. So Prakash, talk to me a little bit, like what's your perception? What's your understanding of high value consulting? What does that mean to you? And then we'll go in from there about how that works its way out in our client engagements.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really interesting question because I've been in the consulting for so many years. So in general, what happened, like the first point is that being their shoes is the first foremost important thing for us, right? Once you are in the consulting for so many years, we go into the room and then think like, okay, I know what they need, right? Before even getting into really the detail of what they need, because if I propose a solution or the product which I sold to someone else, they loved it, but the same one might not work for a other new person, right? That is a different person altogether. So every company has their own way of operating it, and their needs are different. So the first thing is what I would recommend for everybody, or I do practice that. So whenever we get into this kind of consulting world, the high value is mainly like how you are being in their other the customer's shoes and
Mhm.
seeing that in their like how what they're really looking for it, how what can satisfy their requirements, and then how we can really solution and make their life more easier. We are
Mm.
here only to make them make their life is more easier. So that can be done only by hearing them and understanding them, being their shoes, and then we can propose a solution which will be more adaptable by them, and also it will be like more viable for them to use it. Yeah,
I love that. I
yeah,
love because what I hear is the undercurrent. I hear your heart. I
yeah.
hear your heart to serve. I'm so excited right now. I might actually have tears coming down my face only because I love finding groups of people in the SAP world that are not, we're not only passionate about SAP, the solutions, the ecosystems, and the customers, but also those of us that are really called to serve. Because that, can we just say and just acknowledge, not everybody's like that. So like, great job. I really
Thank you.
genuinely love that about you and just about where this conversation is going. So, what I heard you say a lot of is put yourself in somebody else's in shoes, because sometimes we come to the table
Yeah.
and we can think in our minds, especially if we've been in the industry for more than a couple of years, we can be like, oh, I know exactly what they need. I know exactly what they want. And that's actually what we need to do is actually put a pause on that so that we can practice active listening, practice watching facial expressions, practice sometimes even these are some of the things that I do. I watch the personality dynamics that happen. One person might be saying something in a project, but you can see the facial expression across the conference room table of somebody else like, no, I'm not interested in that at all. Right. But I just love that. So what was there a shift in your career that where you went from, hey, I really genuinely want to serve people? Did something happen in particular in your life, in your career that caused you to have that perspective, or do you feel like you kind of were always that way and cultivating it? Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because it's not, I'm not born as a consultant. So, right, and on
Yeah.
the grow, on the go, we learn a lot of things because been 20 years in this field. So initially, I also started like anybody else, like, okay, I know what they're looking for. I just propose that solution.
Yeah.
So it backfired in a few times, and then you realize, okay, this is not something you should do. And also, like, we see people how they present it, how they do it, because we all learn each other with our industry folks and then experts from various forum. So it's basically like it's all cultivated on the process. We do believe that in the earlier stage that, okay, this is what the client needs, this XY in industry. They look for this kind of solution. We go for it and then propose a solution to them. But that's what we did in the beginning. I did in the beginning also. And then I realized, okay, it's not going to work. Even within the same industry practice, there are so many things different, even the company to company, the department to department, the way they look at it, the way they approach it. It's happened in various other projects what we have gone through, and then from there we learned, okay, let's not jump into that conclusion that this is what they need. So just step back. So I would say like past 10 years in my total career of 20 years, because I learned that not at the beginning of the career, it took some time for me to learn and then understand and then practice it.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I would say. Like it's all come in the practice. Those days that not technology like this, where we get everything online. Because now those days like we have to practice and a lot of things we have to go through on our own. So because I started in 2006 my SAP career, so it's been almost going to be 20 years soon. So that's what I would say, Anita.
Yeah, I love that. My escalation management brain is
Mhm.
is saying when we don't actually
learn, acknowledge that we're making mistakes, acknowledge those things happen, and then learn from that and do a little bit better next time. That's actually where I get a ton of work, because there's something like, oh gosh, what is the number? I gotta look this up. There's a book called Big Projects, and the author is talking about how there's something like 95% of ERP software projects go into escalation at any point in time. Now, they can be the more dramatic ones that I love working on, but they also can be the ones where just kind of dip your pinky toe into the escalations. But it's so fascinating to me, because as I'm listening to you speak about this and kind of describe it, I'm also thinking of those SAP consultants that I love to help now, that are maybe they're an independent and they're looking to expand their business, but they're looking to serve more. And I know our natural human inclination is to say, like, nope, I don't want to run into any problems. I want everybody to be happy all the time. But Prakash, I'm going to kind of ask you a question a little bit on the fly, and I'll say upfront, if it's okay if you don't want to go down this road. But my thought was, would you be willing to kind of transparently share a project that did not go well at all? And then because of that, it was like one of the best learning experiences that you had. And then maybe the next project you were able to see, oh, let's see how to do something different. Was it like one big project that you had, or kind of more a little bit of a series of things? Because don't we know, like, I'm just stating for everybody who's listening, SAP projects, Oracle projects, all of our competitive projects, these projects are, they're not easy. We're asking people to change their business processes. There's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot at stake in these projects. So it's nothing for, if you're listening right now and you're like, why are they talking about escalations and big challenges and big mistakes? Because, hey, let me let you know, if you're brand new to this space or you're newer to this space, this is like real world conversation right here. Projects don't always go as planned. And that's just because there's people involved, there's money involved, there's business processes involved, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's not easy to put these systems in. They might be simple in the fact that we have to go 12,000 steps on a project plan or something like that, but they are not easy. So, Prakash, what do you think? Is there like a big project that's coming to mind, or kind of a succession of little projects that helped you really to see? Because ultimately what I'm asking is, how did you learn how to serve better?
Yes, that's a valid question, because if someone says that they have every project has gone smooth, which is not true. All right, so every project we go through challenges, right? So we start with a lot of hope, and then there a lot of understanding, and then when we get into the final testing mode, or after testing is completed, the kind of go live, we get into the bottleneck, like, oh, we need something. Okay, this is not something we expected. This is not something, this is one of the mission critical, that without this we cannot go live.
Mhm.
So it's very common in our industry, especially, like I have also experienced this kind of situations. So one of the pharmaceutical project which we did long back, not now, so almost 10 years ago. So that project was like a very, very complex project. So it's not an easy product, which is they do manufacture different type of synthetics and DNAs and different products, which is where they are looking for a different kind of how we can do the configure their products in a
Mhm.
better way, because they were using a legacy system. They want to migrate to SAP, and then we were like working on so hard to get this particular mapped, and then we have gone through multiple phases of the project. So, but we did show to them in every phase of the project. And then we are trying to align their business with SAP, because those more critical, because we tried our level best to give a best practice, but also like we have gone a little bit ahead, and then we developed some of the solutions to satisfy
Mhm.
the best practice, and also their needs together come into the common platform.
Right.
So it is one of the critical project. It's been worked for almost 10 months by the whole team. Then finally they said, like, no, this is not the one which we are looking for it. And then they have to scrap the whole project. So which is disheartening, because after you, it's like your baby. You've been taking care of so long, and then when it comes to become a reality, then it's been not been accepted.
Yeah.
So it's not because of the solution what we provided, it's mostly because of so many other environment
Mm.
which made the companies took over by someone else. They didn't like that idea of going through SAP, or it could be so many different reasons come into the picture. It's not always what you solution is wrong, right? So
Yeah.
it could be so many things will factors will come and change that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is a very challenging project. But unfortunately, we didn't go live. But we gain all the information, knowledge about the technology, how we can leverage for this kind of industry and product. We developed the solution also.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the only thing that's coming in my mind straight away when you ask this question, Anita. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And thank you for sharing. I know sometimes it's hard, and I really genuinely appreciate your vulnerability and willingness to share on some of these more difficult projects. What about maybe let's kind of turn the conversation a little bit and talk about some of the newer technology that's available, right? We have these estimated 40,000 or so SAP ECC clients that need to move up to HANA and S4 and public
yeah,
cloud and all that great stuff. And then there's automations. I had a gentleman on the podcast a week ago, and he was talking about these AI automations that he's adding for his SAP customers. So fabulous. Where do you see kind of in the industries that you focus on, where do you see some of these tools either that you create or someone creates or SAP has available now that can really help our clients implement faster, grow their businesses faster, reach their revenue goals faster, increase their profitability faster? Like, let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what's changing in the technology right now that we're really seeing is benefiting our customers?
yeah. So the S4 transformation is a bigger thing. We've been doing it for almost 10 years now.
Right.
A lot of clients are really excited to do. At the same time, a lot of people are still not gone at this point, but still they're working on a different phased approach, and then different approaches they are taking in.
Mhm.
So there are so many, like when it comes to my kind of a transformation, the customers are not really going only just moving from one box to another box, right?
Mm.
They are looking at that business transformation,
Yeah.
which is the most important thing, because they've been using the system, they've been operating the way it works in their business model, also been adapted for so many years. But they look at this as a good opportunity for them to transform themselves, their business process. They want to relook at their business process, and then improve their business process, what they're doing it today.
Mhm.
That is why we have a lot of transformation approaches
Mhm.
to look at their not only the system, look at their way they do their business, right? How do they do it? How we can help them improve their process, right? And then simplify their process. They might be doing it certain activities which may not be needed.
Mm.
Only this is the way it can be done by systematically, or there's a limitation in the past.
Yeah.
Right now, there are so many things that opened up, like AI is being really leveraged in so many areas in the industry. So, like a lot of migration tools has been developed by SAP to move from one object to, for example, if you look at migration cockpit, which is being
Mm.
used
Yeah.
for you to provide the data from the legacy, and then will be transformed.
Yeah.
So that satisfies most of the customers' needs, but at the same time, not 100%, right? So you
Yeah.
may need to build on top of that to satisfy. That's what we do. We did for a few clients, because we do leverage the SAP out of the box, whatever is delivered.
Mhm.
On top of that, there is some gaps, which obviously we may see it, because it's not applicable. It's not going to be applicable for every customer, right? So obviously, our customers, whenever they had kind of a migration of the certain objects, so we used leverage the best practice. On top of that, we have to really enhance ourselves to develop a solution which can satisfy that particular client need.
Yeah.
So that's one of the tool I would really I would really explore it in this time, to understand migration cockpit, how it works, what kind of object has been supported,
Mhm.
like a business partner. You talk about the VC models, the
Yeah.
variant configuration models, what can be supported, what cannot be supported. So that's really one of the thing. And also we have to kind of think about where we can leverage AI in this particular area. Like we just not just providing a solution, we have to simplify it. Wherever we can automate, right? Because we have a lot of opportunities for us to go and look at some data operating work, which is being done repetitively. We would be developing it at this point,
Yep.
where we can introduce AI to automate those kind of solutions, right? So that's where because when you handle the huge number of volume of data, so obviously there could be a lot of manual work is involved in that. So where I would potentially see that, okay, we can use AI, leverage AI to eliminate this manual repetitive work of the manpower, which is being done day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
anything else in kind of that transformation category that you want to talk about? Like any new tools that you're aware of that maybe other SAP consultants would be like, oh, I didn't know that even existed. That could help me in a project. Anything that falls into that category?
Oh, actually, mainly, yeah. I mean, like this is some main thing is migration cockpit is what we really use in terms of doing it. And also, I've leveraged iDocs, right? So in one of the project, the standard iDocs, I have to move around almost like more than 40, 50,000 of models. It's very complex variant configuration models, which needs to be migrated from one system to another system. So you can go through either migration cockpit, or you can go through a different approach because it needs a different type of approach. So we leverage the standard IDOC approach, and then moved all different objects. It's a huge volume of objects because we had gone through a lot of challenges when IDOC is the best way to move from one to another one. The data, there is no leakage of the data. It's all consistent, and then you will get all the results you need in the target environment also. That's why I prefer that approach. At the same time, it's not a challenge. I don't say it's a big challenge, but whatever the gaps we had it's very, very minimal amount of development what we did in order to do that. So those kind of 50,000, more than 50,000 models, which has a number of volume of the characteristics class, and the way they designed in the past, the class, which is entirely different from the new S4 advanced variant configuration, adapted in a different way. So that is where we found some challenges, but uh, in spite of that, because IDOC was the best option for us to migrate it from one system to another system, which is my experience. I also written a white paper on that, talking about what is the different challenges we have faced, and then what is the solution for it, right?
Oh, nice.
So how we can approach it, how we can come out of this kind of issues in the what we can expect when you move the model, which is 30, 40 years old model, which you are moving it to the new environment. The way it has been written, the way it has been developed is entirely different, and what is being what we can what how they can simplify it, how they would have done it in a better way, or you can even see that how great they did it in the past. So the both the way you can look at it and then adapt the very good things, and then wherever you need an improvement, just approach it in a positive way to change it to the new way, and considering so much of performance, because nowadays performance is a very big challenge for the volume when you handle it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blowing my mind right now. I love this. This is so fun. Prakash, you mentioned something almost kind of like a little bit, what's the right word? Almost like as a side note that you had written a white paper. And I'm just curious, when a lot of the folks that listen to our podcast are independent SAP consultants, and so they've taken their expertise, they've packaged it up in a different way. They're trying to, the market tells us all the time to compete on a dollar for dollar basis, like what's your hourly rate, right? I don't know about you. I get hit up on LinkedIn all the time. Anita, you want to come work on this $65 an hour project or something like that? I'm like, oh, I don't say this out loud. Well, I do on the podcast, but I don't say this to them. I think in my mind, that's so sweet that you would invite me to do that, but that's not anywhere near the level of expertise that I bring to the table. And you mentioned something about writing a white paper. So just kind of tying those pieces together, do you have some recommendations for our audience if you have all this expertise, all this knowledge, all this amazing experience with all these projects over so many years? And what I've seen you do is kind of package it up in different ways to write a white paper, maybe I'm going to fill in some gaps, maybe get new clients, maybe expand your network, maybe just be more, help prospects be more aware that you actually exist. What do you do? Like what was it in your mind that said, I kind of I want to expand a little bit beyond what I'm doing so that more people can understand, maybe more projects can come my way. Like talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So it's basically like we all learn, and then it's not that we don't want to share it, but we don't know the right way to share it or how we can share it with others.
Mhm.
So that is where we all lag, and then there's no proper forum for you to just only one forum to go and publish yourself, right? Whatever you have done. So I'm a fellow for PCS, which is a UK based, and then I'm also like APM, IEEE, also like I senior member. So I used to present some of the activities but it's more on like how technology is improving and where we are really connecting what we are really learning towards that and what we are looking forward to it, like AA or any other area which we are looking forward to talk about it, right?
Mhm.
So there are so many forums are available, right? So where we can do the publications, like you don't need to really like we never talk about any of our clients, but it's your knowledge what you gain over a period of time. So you approach the different problems you had gone through in your project, or you personally had gone through that particular situation, or the project has gone through that, and then what you learn from that.
Yeah.
So just make it as I have the habit of making it as a document, saying that, okay, I had gone through this problem. So this is what the solution I proposed.
Mhm.
And then this is how I'm approached. So that is where you can start thinking about whatever project you had gone through, and then think about it, and then start putting it, okay, I resolved this complex problem, right? So how I approached it, what I approached it. So those information you collect and then keep it with you, and then share it with others by the way mode of white paper, or it could be publication. You can do a lot of forums are available for you to share yourself,
Yeah.
and then you can write a blog, and then you can share it with the others. And even the LinkedIn is now it's a great platform for a lot of people to go and share. Okay, I had gone through this kind of challenges, and then this is how I overcome that.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and also like we do connect with SAP in certain platform.
Mhm.
We have especially when we are talking about the variant configuration, because we have a CWG. There is a forum. I think a lot of people might be, your viewers might be aware of that, because it's a very close where SAP comes, and then we go and present what is a new area which we can look at it, and how we look at it, how we want to improve it, right? So they also really listen to us, and then see, okay, these are the new ideas and then new thoughts, and also like how and what challenges we faced, as I explained, like the cockpit wherever whatever challenges we found, and then when we use iDoc, what is that can be, how we can leverage it. We all share that information, knowledge with them,
Yeah.
to make sure that they also listen to us and then develop the solution accordingly.
Mm. I love that. I love that. I'm thinking about some clients that I've worked with in the past, and some of the things that I hear people say if I'm helping them create high ticket, high impact offers for their clients, and then create a lead generation system to attract new clients. I will often hear, if I ask somebody straight away, like, what's your expertise? What if you were able to like 3 to 10x your rates? And they'll be like, Anita, I can't do that. And I will, well, why not? You have all this experience in a sideline conversation. If we were just meeting in, like, let's say we were in one of the SAP offices, or at an SAP partner, or consulting or tech ed or something like that. If we just met over coffee and I asked them, what are you good at? What are you doing? What kind of project are you working on? And all these kinds of questions, that we would sit there for an hour, just like you and I have been, and just chat about, okay, this is the experience I have. This is the experience I've had. But what I notice is that when I ask people to package it up differently, and then put on a sales hat instead of a consultant hat, a lot of people are really afraid because they're kind of like, whoa, I don't want to do that. But what you're talking about, actually, it's like a little bit of a bridge of saying, I have this expertise over here. I have all these years, all these industries, all this information. I'm going out. If I heard you properly, you're looking at, I'm going to use maybe different language, maybe speaking opportunities, writing white paper opportunities, blog posts, being in these communities, giving direct feedback to SAP and more. And then being able to package that in a way that helps our prospect understand, do you know that I can get you the outcome that you're looking for in your project because of X, Y, Z, all this kind of stuff. So what is fun is watching people go through the process of becoming aware that they're actually already experts. And it's not an expert. I'll kind of clarify that. It's not because there's more letters behind my name or your name or anything like that. Like all the certifications, all the degrees, all those things are amazing, but they're not actually what moves a client to come and say, yes, Anita, I'm going to pay you a high ticket offer for the outcome that you can give me. The difference is I come to the table with confidence and be able to say, I have all this experience. I have helped, I'll rattle off some things. Like my group was responsible inside SAP as an executive director. We were responsible for adding 10,000 net new customers to the ecosystem. Well, I personally coach 450 different consultants and being able to create these high ticket offers. I've done hundreds of escalations in 21 years, all these kinds of things. But those items in and of themselves do not actually attract my prospects to me. What attract my prospects to me and help me get more projects and higher end projects is being able to talk about an outcome that I can get for somebody else, a result that I can get for somebody else. If I'll give you two examples. If a consultant is currently charging on an hourly rate, I can help them move over to project-based billing and bill ahead of time so that they're working more off a retainer instead of always chasing cash, those kinds of things. I know that I can get somebody that outcome, and I typically can help them 3 to 10x their rates. If an escalation client, if I talk with them, I know that I can get their project back on track, get their budget back in line, get them out of a potential lawsuit, and then be able to set their company up in their SAP system to double their revenue in the next 2 to 5 years. See, that's all outcome-based language that I'm talking about. And hopefully somebody who's listening right now is like, oh, I get what they're talking about. And that's what you're talking about, right? You're talking about taking the experience that you have. I love that. And being able to write a white paper, be in these forums and talk about some results that actually serve somebody else and help anybody else. And so is there anything, maybe like one last thing, Prakash, on that topic of being able to talk about the results that we can help others get so that it draws more prospects to us, it allows us to step into bigger projects, anything along those lines of thinking that you want to share with our audience today?
Yeah, sure. Normally now the customers or your clients are really smart, right? They know because those days, like we all go and then only when they meet in person and talk to you, then they know like who you are,
Yeah,
right? So now it's all technology,
yeah,
right? So if there is a person is getting onboarded, they know that, okay, they go and look at your LinkedIn and see like what this person is doing it.
yeah.
What is this experience all about? What did he do so far? Right? They do that kind of research. I've seen clients does that also. So evaluate you outside of not only in person, they evaluate you outside how you are active and then what kind of contribution you have done in this particular platform. So that's why it's more value addition. Like it's like a visiting card, right? So obviously we need to deliver the results. If not, it's not going to work for you, right? So they are going to find out within a few days or few time. But this is a great visiting card when you contribute, when you start. It's not a. I would say like you are sharing your knowledge. I would say like you are morely like you are sharing in multiple platforms and connecting with the different people, which is what gives you a good opening for you with a client and a good positive opinion about you when you start with that. After that, yes, we all work hard and then we deliver it as the results needed. That's the second part of it. That's how I look at it. That's why I say it's very important to do it. And also like you can keep active in the forums, and then do as much as possible for you to share it. Why it's important? That's why it's very important,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, so good. Oh my gosh, this conversation has been really literally one of the best ones I've had with another SAP consultant this week. I love it. I love it. So a couple of things as we get ready to wrap up here. I will ask you in just a second how people can track you down and what we call in our business politely stalk you and learn more. But first of all, I just want to honor you. Prakash, not only coming to the table and having a great conversation today, I'm sure breaking open somebody's limiting mindset, helping them see how to shift and come to the marketplace a little bit better, serve a little bit better, recognize that not all projects are amazing. But I just want to honor you because you just having this conversation today for, I don't know, we've been here for about 35, maybe 40 minutes total. What you bring to the table is amazing. And so I just want to say thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to get to know you, to talk to you, to hear your perspective, to be able to share that with our audience. And then we'll share it on all of our social platforms so that we can help other consultants in this space. So thank you so much for being here. And just for everybody listening, is there a way that people can track you down a little bit more and get to know you better?
Sure, definitely. I'm always available on the LinkedIn. So that's one of the best platform, I would say, like for all professional, for us to connect each other. That's
Yep.
how I get to know you, Anita.
Yeah.
So that's the best way to. I would. I'm happy to be part of the network. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you. And we'll
Yeah.
just wrap up for today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the listeners, and thank you, Anita, for this opportunity. I really appreciate your time and everybody's time on this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Wealthy SAP Consultant Podcast with your host, Anita Anello. We hope you gained valuable insights and strategies to take your consulting business to new heights. Remember, by showcasing your expertise and delivering premium services, you can attract high-paying clients and increase your revenues while serving your customers at the highest levels. To dive deeper into implementing these strategies and overcoming challenges in your consulting journey, schedule a strategy call with our team by clicking on the link below. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll continue to provide you with actionable tips and advice to excel in the SAP consulting industry. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, keep shining in your consulting business.